I lost my tripod, so this is the angle that we're getting today. I'm really sorry. Hi angels, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever been scrolling on Pinterest and you come across the most beautiful book cover you've ever seen? Then you read about the description of the book and it includes your favorite trope ever. Then you actually read the book and it's far better than you could have ever imagined. Then you continue reading more books by the author and you fall in love with their writing. Well, that happened with me and Liang. Liang is a Chinese-Australian New York Times bestselling author, and today I am going to be convincing you to read the 4 books by her that I have read. Before I get into the books, I just want to say that Liang's writing is very beautiful and immersive and descriptive. So if you have a problem with or get uncomfortable by descriptive kissing scenes, then her books are probably not for you. And just to clarify, her books are not spicy at all. All of these books are closed-door romances, but there is a bit of suggestive dialogue in some of them. So the spice meter that you'll see for each book will be based on the amount of suggestive dialogue and the intensity of the kissing scenes. Sadie Wen is our main character of this book. She is one of the school captains, a valedictorian, a model student, and a people pleaser. On the outside, she's on good terms with everyone in her school, except for her academic rival, Julius Gong. She lives with her mom and her older brother Max, and her family owns a small bakery. And Sadie blames herself for being the reason why their dad left them. Julius Gong is our love interest of the story. He is Sadie Wen's co-captain, and he's been her enemy since elementary school. He's rich and loved by elders, but he's also arrogant and competitive. He lives with his parents and his really successful older brother who is better than him in every way without even trying. People-pleasing main character Sadie Wen has to express her anger in some kind of way. So she does it by writing hate emails to every single person in school who gets on her nerves. But she doesn't send the emails to them, she leaves them in her email drafts. That is until every single hate email she's ever written is released to all of the recipients. And the main recipient who receives 42 emails is Julius Gong. So since it is an enemies to lovers book, I guess everybody can already assume what's gonna happen in the book. But I guess you could say that the main plot twist would be involving who actually sent the emails. Hi, I'm sorry, but I forgot to mention that almost everyone in the school besides Sadie's best friend believes that Sadie and Julius are on good terms with each other. After the emails get released, everyone finds out that this is not the case. So since they're co-captains, the principal decides that she really wants them to get along with each other. So the two of them have to go through a series of events together, causing forced proximity in order for them to get along with each other. And Liang markets this book as to all the boys if Lara Jean wrote hate emails instead of love letters. Now, this is the 4th book that I read by Liang, but since it's a sequel to I Hope This Doesn't Find You, I'm talking about it second. So this book explores Julius and Sadie's relationship now that they're actually dating. And it begins with their last math test of the school year, and the two of them made an agreement that whoever got the highest score would be the person who gets to plan their entire summer trip. When they get their test scores back, we see that Sadie is actually the one who scored the highest score. Sadie receives a 97 and Julius receives a 96. But Julius, of course, being the person that he is not very happy with the score that he got. He received a 96 because he didn't show his work on the last question, but he got the answer right. So of course he negotiates his way to a 97, which means that they tied. So Julius gets to plan the first week of their trip and Sadie gets to plan the second week of their trip. This book is the shortest out of all of Liang's books because it is a novella. It only has 60 pages. It was initially released as like a bonus, like limited edition thing for the people who pre-saved Never Thought I'd End Up Here, which is another book that I'm going to be talking about in this video. And it like actually released for everyone as an audiobook and a digital book 2 days ago on August 5th. It's a very sweet and simple book, and it's a nice ending to Sadie and Julius's relationship. No! Not their relationship. It's a very sweet and simple book and a nice ending to Sadie and Julius's story. Eliza Lynn is our main character of this book. She's a senior in high school and an aspiring writer. She lives with her mom, her dad, and her little sister Emily, and because of her mom's job, her family moves around a lot. This causes Eliza to have a hard time fitting in at her new schools and making friends. However, at the beginning of the book, we get introduced to her best friend, who is basically the only friend that she has up to this point in the story. The love interest of this book's name is Kaz Song. He's in the same grade as Eliza at her school, and he's a famous C-drama actor. He's very popular at school, and he's kind of sarcastic, funny, and witty. He lives with both of his parents, but he doesn't see them very often because they're workaholics. And he's also procrastinating on writing his college essays, which is something that you should keep in mind. So the story begins with Eliza Lynn having to write a personal essay for one of her classes. But since Eliza doesn't like writing about her personal life, she decides to completely make up an entire story about her and her non-existent boyfriend. And as if lying about her essay wasn't bad enough, the essay ends up going viral, and now everyone in their school and in their city knows about Eliza and her boyfriend. So one night, while Eliza and her family are spending time together and watching a C-drama, she gets an idea. The main lead of the C-drama that they're watching is Kaz Song, and he happens to go to her school. So, in order to make her lie seem believable, she convinces Kaz to pretend to be her boyfriend in exchange for her helping him write his college essays. Even though this is kind of their second time talking to each other, Kaz agrees to help her. Their story is probably the slowest burn out of all the ones that I've read because they're fake dating, but they start to fall in love with each other because, why wouldn't they? But the thing is, when Eliza starts having real feelings for Kaz, she kind of starts trying to distance herself from him and get rid of her feelings for him while also still spending time with him and pretending to be his girlfriend. But I will say that their story is probably my favorite out of all the ones that I'm talking about today, and I think I learned a lot from this book. Our main character, Leah, is a former model, and she used to be the laughingstock of the school. She used to wear embarrassing outfits and make up fun games with herself and try to get other people to play with her, but everyone else kind of thought that she was a weirdo. One day, when she finally decided to turn pretty / get a makeover, people finally started liking her. Boys started treating her like an object and only using her for her body, and girls started being her friend, but not really her friends. To add on to that, she can barely speak Chinese and she's not very familiar with her parents' culture. And she feels like she has no idea what she wants to do with her life after quitting modeling. Cyrus is our love interest, and he is Leah's former bully. He used to do everything in his power to bother Leah and to make sure that her life at school was miserable. In the present, he's kind of this cold and pessimistic guy who doesn't really seem to be the kind of guy he used to be before. Leah and Cyrus haven't seen each other since the incident that caused Leah to get expelled from school, but now they're 17 years old and Leah's cousin is getting married. So of course, Leah's at her cousin's wedding, but for some reason, Cyrus is too. He claims that he's there to get a recommendation letter from Linda Shen, who is Leah's aunt and her cousin's mom. But we later find out that that might not be the only reason why he's there. During the wedding, Leah's cousin and her new husband are walking around the tables of the guests so that the guests can give them encouraging speeches, and Leah basically couldn't understand anything from the entire wedding because everyone's speaking Chinese and there are a bunch of Chinese elements involved in their wedding, so Leah's kind of lost and confused and doesn't really 100% understand everything that's happening. So when they finally come over to her, she panics because she can barely speak Chinese. She asks around her table for help, and one of the girls and Cyrus actually help her, but when it's finally time for her to speak, she messes up really badly. And she accidentally tells her cousin and her husband that she wants their marriage to end in depression and she wants them to get sick. Now obviously everybody in the wedding is really upset that this is happening, and the cousin basically storms off, but I don't think anyone is angrier than Linda Shen, who also calls her niece an ignorant foreigner. Now, Leah's mom is pretty upset about this because she and her sister Linda have this ongoing feud since childhood with each other. So her mom does everything in her power to make sure that Leah can learn more about Chinese culture. Her mom ends up getting her a spot in this program that Linda is in charge of that will take students on a tour around China, teaching them about the language and the culture. Leah sees this as a good opportunity to get away from everything that's happening at home with her fake friends and not having a sense of direction in her life. But when she gets there, she realizes that her arch nemesis, her greatest enemy, Cyrus, happens to be on the trip as well. During the trip, Leah learns about her culture and she makes new, real friends, and she learns how to let go of the tragedies that happened in her past. Okay, that is going to be it for this video. I know it was kind of shorter than my other videos, but I hope that it was more organized and more enjoyable than the last few videos have been, and I hope that I didn't spoil too much from the books. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. Jesus loves you. Bye, angels. Am I supposed to be like holding the book? Ew! I just did the whole first one without holding it though.